guys, welcome back to KJ's Playhouse. Wait, what is this? Oop, I forgot to tell you. We're gonna be reading in the second series of Eerie Elementary, The Locker Ate Lucy. You can't wait to see what it's about. Anyways, let's get started. Eerie Elementary, The Locker Ate Lucy. Chapter 1, Into the Graveyard. Come on, this will just take a minute, said Sam to his friends Antonio and Lucy. It was Monday morning before school. They were standing outside the entrance to the town graveyard, Eerie Cemetery. Sam, do we really have to do this? Lucy asked. I've got the willies, big time. Me too, Antonio said. I'm allergic to graveyards. Sam Graves turned to his friends. We need to figure out how to stop our evil school, right? He said. Then we have to do this. So we have to learn as much about Eerie Elementary as possible. That way, we'll be able to fight it. The three friends stepped through the iron gate. The graveyard usually gave Sam the creeps. But it didn't seem so scary now. Not after everything that had happened. It was 1 week ago that Mr. Nakobe, the old man who took care of Eerie Elementary, had chosen Sam to be the new hall monitor. Years ago, Mr. Nakobe had been the school's hall monitor. He showed Sam the truth about Eerie Elementary. It was alive. The school was a living, breathing, evil thing. Then on Friday, the school had tried to swallow Lucy and Antonio during the class play. Sam had saved them in the nick of time. The three friends and Mr. Nakobe were the only ones who knew the truth about the school. They had to keep everyone safe. There, Lucy said, pointing to a hill dotted with cracked headstones. That book says that's where the Eerie family is buried. Lucy held a thick and dusty book in her hand. It's Eerie, a town history. The three friends had spent the weekend at the town library looking for information. From this book, they learned that a family with the last name of Eerie started the town hundreds of years ago. The book said that the Eerie family was buried in this graveyard. It also said that each member of the Eerie family has started part of the town, the library, the hospital, and even the school. Sam hoped that by seeing the graves, they might learn more about the school's history. Sam eyed the headstones. Each headstone had the name Eerie on it. It felt as if the headstones were watching him. Sam counted them 12. Lucy, can I see the book? Sam asked. Lucy handed it to Sam. He flipped through the pages. Guys, this is strange, he said. The book says that there are 13 members of the Eerie family, so there should be 13 headstones, but there are only 12. One family member is not buried here. Weird, Antonio said. You know, it's no surprise all this creepy stuff is happening in a town named Eerie. Eerie does mean spooky and strange. Whose grave is missing, Sam? Lucy asked. Sam's eyes started over the names on the headstones. Then he looked at the book. Well, Sam said, there's a family member named Orson Eerie. You see his picture here? Antonio peeked over Sam's shoulder. Wow, look at his mustache, he said. What is that thing? Sam rolled his eyes and continued. But I don't see a headstone with that name. And this is even weirder. Orson Eerie was born in 1871, but it doesn't say when he died. There's just a question mark. I wonder what happened to him, Antonio said. What else does the book say about him? Sam turned the page to read more. Oh no! Lucy yelled. It's 8:15! We're late for school! Lucy yanked the book from Sam's hands, and she stuffed it into her backpack. Come on! Antonio said to Sam. Sam ran after his friends, but he had an uneasy feeling in his stomach. As hall monitor, Sam could sense things that other students couldn't. He could feel when something was wrong at Eerie Elementary. And right now, Sam had the feeling that something very bad was about to happen. Chapter 2. Gone! Sam raced out of the graveyard, down the street, and toward the school. As the three friends crossed the playground, they spotted a large plastic thermometer on a tree branch. I forgot, Lucy called to her friends as she ran. We have to have that weather lesson today. Antonio started skipping. Class outside! And this is going to be a good day. Sam hoped Antonio was right. The three of them raced up the steps and into the school. Sam pulled on his alma mater sash as they ran inside. I'll never get used to this, to wearing this ugly thing, said Sam. Bright orange is totally your color, choked Lucy. Their classmates were all lined up in the hallway. Mrs. Krieger, their teacher, stood at the front of the line. You're late, Mrs. Granger barked. Put your backpacks and head to the back of the line. As Santa and his friends walked to their lockers, Mrs. Granger called out, We're going outside for our weather lesson now. Today's weather will be the hottest ever for late September. 105 degrees. Sam and Antonio put their backpacks away quickly. But Lucy was still at her locker. Just 1 second, Lucy said, looking through her backpack. I need my sunglasses. Hurry up, Lucy, Sam said. He and Antonio hopped into line. Hall monitor, Mrs. Grinker said to Sam from the front of the line. Please make sure everyone is with us. Okay, Sam said. He turned to call Lucy, but when he looked down the hall, his heart just about stopped. Lucy's sunglasses lay on the floor. Her locker was open. The hallway was empty. A feeling of fear crept over Sam. Lucy was gone. What do you think would have happened? Chapter 3. Into the Locker. Sam had a pit in his stomach the size of a basketball. Last week, Mr. Nakobe had told Sam that Eerie Elementary he fed on students. And Sam had seen this with his own eyes. When the stage had tried to swallow his friends, now Lucy was missing. Could the school have eaten her? Follow me, Mrs. Ringer called out. Then she began marching the students out through the big double doors. Excuse me. Sam grabbed Antonio from the end of the line. The two friends stayed behind as their classmates headed outside. Then Sam said, Lucy's missing. She went to her locker and now she's gone. Antonio turned to look at Lucy's locker. He, too, knew what horrible things Eerie Elementary could do. He gulped and said, and maybe she's just messing with us, hiding in her locker. Sam and Antonio crept towards Lucy's locker. Sam's heart pounded. He wrapped his fingers around the half-open door. The metal warm in his hand, and Sam held his breath. Then he yanked the door open. Lucy was not inside. But something else was. Nasty, slimy goo dripped down the inside of the locker. It was glowing. It looked like neon boogers mixed with bulldog slobber. Antonio touched it. It was sticky and wet. Ew, he said. He flicked his hand, splashing goo onto the floor. Antonio said slowly, the locker ate Lucy. Uh-oh. We should tell Mr. Nakobe, Antonio said, and Sam shook his head. There's no time. I have to go in after her. I'm the hall monitor. It's my job to protect the students, especially Lucy. Antonio gulped. Then I'm coming with you. Sam nodded. He reached into Lucy's locker and brushed aside her gym clothes. There was a strange hole in the back wall of the locker. More glowing goo dripped from the hole. Sam could see a narrow tunnel through the hole. Are you ready? Sam asked. Antonio shook his head. Not really, Sam swallowed. No time to be scared, he said. It's time to rescue Lucy. Sam climbed through the hole. Antonio followed. Together, they crawled into the darkness down into the depths of the school. Excuse me. Chapter 4, A Tight Spot. Sam soon saw that the dark tunnel they were crawling through was actually an air vent. It carried cool air into the classrooms. Sam shivered, partly from the cool air and partly from fear. And as they crawled, the inside of the air vent became wetter. Slimy goo dripped down the sides. It feels like we're crawling through someone's nose, Antonio said. Each time Sam had placed his hand down, it made a slushy sound. I just wish it wasn't so dark, Sam said. Click! A light shone into the tunnel. Sam craned his neck and saw Antonio holding a cell phone. Antonio grinned. My mom makes me carry it. Smart, Sam said. They crawled forward through the muck. So, why do you think the school took Lucy? Antonio asked. Shh, Sam said, whispering. We don't want the school to know we're coming. I'll be very extra quiet, Antonio started, but then, achoo! Antonio, Sam moaned. I'm sorry, it's hard to breathe with your stinky sneakers in my face. Swoosh! A wave of air whooshed through the vent, blowing back Sam's hair. But this air was warm. It felt like someone's hot breath. The school must be trying to figure out where we are, Sam whispered. So don't make achoo! This time it was Sam who sneezed. Sam, Antonio said. Sorry. Clang! Sam looked behind them. Lucy's locker doors slammed shut. The school definitely knew where they were. And now they were trapped. No turning back. All of a sudden, the vent began to shake. The metal buckled. It began to squeeze them. We have to get out of here, Sam said. The vent squeezed tighter, closing around them. It pressed against Sam's shoulders. It pressed against his legs. Sam and Antonio crawled forward as fast as they could. The vent squeezed them harder. It's going to crush us, Antonio screamed. Chapter 5, Lunchtime. The vent was tightening fast. Both boys struggled to move. When Sam placed his hand down, he almost tumbled forward. There was nothing there, just air. The vent came close to a sudden end. Well, anything is better than being crushed, Sam thought. Follow me, Sam said, and get ready for a drop. Sam wriggled forward. Then he was falling. Ah! Sam screamed as he tumbled through the air. Splat! Sam splashed on something gooey. Heads up! Antonio shouted. He was nosediving towards Sam. Pow! Antonio plowed into Sam. It was pitch black. Antonio turned on his phone again and shone the light around. They were lying on a mountain of sticky gunk. It looks like the nasty goo saved us, Antonio said as he wiped some from his face. But where are we? Even with the light from the phone, they couldn't see far ahead. Sam squinted. They were in a large room. There were tall pillars around the sides of the room and piles of junk all over the floor. The air felt damp. It smelled moldy. We must be in the basement, Sam said, getting to his feet. He was covered in goo. His sneakers made squishy sounds with every step. Then Sam heard a different noise. The boys turned towards it. An old lunch cart was coming out of the darkness. Its wheels squeaked, echoing against the basement walls. It weaved slowly from side to side. Goosebumps covered Sam's skin. Antonio inched closer to Sam. No one was pushing the lunch cart. It was moving on its own. The lid opened and closed. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. The lid slapped like a mouth as it rolled toward them, and it wasn't stopping. We're about to become school lunch, yelled Sam. Chapter 6, The Dark Basement. Sweat poured down on Sam's forehead. He had never been so scared in his life. The lunch cart rolled toward him and Antonio. Then, just as it was about to hit them, the boys jumped out of the way. Slam! The cart crashed so hard into the wall, it shattered. Pieces of plastic showered Sam and Antonio. Antonio's jaw hung open. Sam, maybe we should go back to get help, he said. Sam shook his head. He knew that the school was trying to scare them into giving up. But he was not going to let that happen. Lucy was counting on them. Besides, he knew they must have fallen 20 feet from the vent before they landed in that pile of goo. He didn't know how they would ever get out of this basement. And Sam turned to his friend. Antonio, we are deep inside the school now. I bet even Mr. Jacoby never made it this far. This is our chance to learn the secret of Eerie Elementary. If we can figure out what keeps it alive, we can learn how to beat it, Sam said. But Sam, and we must rescue Lucy, Sam continued. Antonio swallowed. You're right. Sam and Antonio began tiptoeing across the basement. Their hearts were pounding. Antonio shone the light as they walked. Goo ran down the walls. It dripped from the ceiling, and torn up jackets and shredded backpacks lay across the floor. Bent and twisted bicycles lay in heaps. Everything looked like it had been chewed up. It was like they were inside a body. And Sam thought that if Eerie Elementary was a body, then this basement must be its stomach. Sam looked around and said, it looks like the school has just been eating backpacks and bicycles and stuff. Mr. Jacoby has done a good job of protecting the students. You've done great too, Antonio said. If you hadn't saved us at the class play last Friday, I'd be down here. Come on, let's finish this, said Sam. The friends tiptoed along. Then Antonio grabbed Sam's arm. Look, Antonio said, pointing. What? Sam asked. He followed Antonio's beam of light over toward a rusty metal desk. It's him! It's Orson Eerie! Antonio yelled. Chapter 7, The Face of Orson Eerie. Antonio was shining the light at a picture frame on the desk. Inside, there was an old black and white photo of a man. Jeez, Antonio, Sam said. You scared me. I thought you meant Orson Eerie was here. Uh, excuse me? I thought you meant Orson Eerie was here, like real back to life in person. And felt around on the wall until he found a light switch. He flipped it on. 2 light bulbs flickered on. I don't think anyone has been in here in a long time, Antonio said, picking up a newspaper. This is from 1938. That's older than my grandmother. That's older than, like, my grandmother's grandmother. Whoa, said Sam. And what is this? A large piece of blue paper lay out on the desk. It looks like a blueprint, Antonio said, like a drawing of a building. That makes sense. The big room looks like our gym, see? Said Sam, pointing to the blueprint. It's like a map of Eerie Elementary. Suddenly, a girl's voice called out, "Help! Lucy!" Lucy! Sam and Antonio said at once. Lucy's cries were coming from beyond a large metal door. It was at the far end of the dark basement. A sign on the door read, "Heating and Cooling Room." "Help! Let's go," Sam said. The boys quickly stuffed everything they could fit into their pockets. Papers, a small book, and the blueprint. But as soon as they did, everything in the basement came to life. Whoosh! A dodgeball flew at Sam. Sam grabbed Antonio by the wrist. "Come on!" Sam shouted, ducking beneath the ball. "Let's go get Lucy!" Sam dodged chewed up frisbee that rocketed toward him. Why do I keep burping? Excuse me. Antonio jumped over her roller skates that shot toward his legs like cannonballs. The school was loud. Sam thought it sounded like a stomach rumbling. And the walls shook and the floor shifted. Sam and Antonio stumbled from side to side. Backpacks opened wide, threw rulers, pencils, and books at them. The heating and cooling room door was just ahead. "Keep running!" Sam yelled. But Antonio stopped in his tracks. Sam looked back. Something long that looked like a spear was heading for Antonio, a wiffle ball bat. Sam pulled Antonio behind a large pillar. Whoosh! The bat flew past. "Okay, now I'm mad," Antonio said. "Let's find Lucy and get out of this crazy basement." Sam peeked around the pillar. "We just need to reach that door." "But who knows we're waiting for us on the other side?" asked Antonio. "There's only one way to find out," said Sam. Chapter 8. Lucy! Excuse me. Sam and Antonio charged through the heating and cooling room. Sam ripped the door open, then quickly shut it behind them. Crash! 100 mad chewed up things slammed into the closed door. Sam caught his breath and looked around the room. One wall was covered with a maze of rusty old pipes. The pipes were alive. They moved like an army of snakes. As they twisted, they scraped together, making a screeching noise. "Lucy!" Sam yelled, pointing. His friend was suspended in midair, hanging upside down. One of the pipes was wrapped around her ankle. "Guys, you found me! Please get me down from here!" Lucy shrieked. Lucy calling for help made the school angrier. The pipe around Lucy's ankle began flinging her through the air. "The pipe is throwing Lucy around like a doll," said Antonio. "Hang on, Lucy!" Sam yelled. Sam and Antonio began climbing the giant wall of pipes. Unlike the basement, this room was not covered in goo. The metal pipes were dry, and the boys were able to grip them. Sam could feel water rushing through the pipes. The pipes must pump water throughout the school, thought Sam. Antonio leapt off one pipe and grabbed the pipe around Lucy's right ankle. He tugged, trying to pull her face. "I'm coming," said Sam. "The pipe is wrapped so tight," Antonio yelled as he tugged. "Help!" Lucy cried. Antonio pulled harder, but then, clank! The pipe jumped in his hand, throwing him to the ground. "Arg!" Antonio said, getting his feet. "It's no use!" Sam jumped down. There has to be a way to make that pipe let go of her, he thought. He looked around the room. The school's water heater stood around in the corner. Sam's dad was a plumber, so Sam knew all about this stuff. The water heater warmed the water, then it pumped through the warm water throughout the school. A wheel on the front controlled how fast the water moved through the pipes. If I turn that wheel, I could slow down the water. Maybe that will weaken the pipes and make them let go of Lucy, Sam thought. Sam grabbed the wheel. It was rusty and stiff. Finally, it started turning, but it wasn't helping. Lucy was flung around and faster. "What are you doing?" "Hey, Sam!" yelled Antonio. "Stop! You're making it worse!" Lucy screamed. She was whipped through the air at lightning speed. Faster and faster! Sam had to free his friend before it was too late. Chapter 9. The Horrible Truth. The school kept flinging Lucy through the air back and forth. Sam got an idea. "It must be turning the wheel. I must be turning the wheel the wrong way." "Hang on," he shouted. Sam spun the big wheel in the opposite direction. The water began draining from the pipes. It was working. The pipes were losing their energy. They were becoming weaker. The pipe around Lucy's ankle loosened its grip, and it dropped her. "Ah!" yelled Lucy, falling. At the last moment, Lucy grabbed a hold of a lower-hanging pipe. Antonio helped her get down. "You okay?" Antonio said. Lucy wiped some sweat from her forehead. "So," she said, "what took you guys so long?" Sam and Antonio smiled. Their friend was safe. "What is all that?" Lucy said, pointing to the paper sticking out of Sam and Antonio's pockets. "Oh, yeah," Sam said. "We found this creepy office back there." Excuse me. It was full of lots of old junk. "Maybe that blueprint will show us how to get back upstairs," said Antonio. "Good thinking," said Lucy. "You find a way out of here while I dig through this other stuff." Sam, Antonio, and Lucy took a seat on the floor and got to work. "Look at this," Lucy said, holding up a red leather book. "This is Orson Eerie's journal. It sounds like he was some sort of mad scientist." "Whoa," Antonio whispered. "And what else does his journal say?" Sam asked. Lucy's eyes darted over the pages. After a minute, she lowered the book and said, "As Orson Eerie grew old, all he cared about the idea of endless life. In his last journal entry, he writes, 'I've done it! I've found a way to live forever.'" Anne remembered something. "Lucy, do you still have the library book?" Lucy's eyes lit up. "Yes," she said. She slipped her backpack off her shoulder and handed the book back to Sam. "Look," Sam said, flipping the page where he had left off that morning. "It says Orson Eerie was an architect, someone who designs buildings. And, oh man, he designed Eerie Elementary." "Wait a minute," said Antonio. "A mad scientist designed our school? No wonder it's crazy creepy." Sam, Antonio, and Lucy were silent. The only sound came from the water heater. It sounded like a heart beating. Ba-bum, 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 ba-bum. It was then that Sam Graves understood the terrible truth about Orson Eerie and Eerie Orson Eerie and about Eerie Elementary. Chapter 10, Trapped. I get it now, Sam yelled, holding up the blueprint and the book. It all makes sense. Orson Eerie designed the school so that he could stay alive forever. That's why he couldn't find a grave. We couldn't find a grave for him in the town graveyard. He never died. He became the school. Wait, Antonio said. So you're saying Orson Eerie is Eerie Elementary, Sam said. He is the walls and the floors. He is the lockers and the pipes. He is everything. And that's why the school took you this morning, Lucy. It sensed that we found that library book. It knew we were close to finding out the truth. Lucy's face went white. This whole thing is terrifying. Sam agreed. It was almost too crazy to believe. But it did make sense. It explained everything. Clack! The locker and the heating and cooling room door slid into place, trapping them. The Eerie Elementary started going crazy. The walls began to vibrate. The pipes began shaking and clanking again. And the floor cracked open. The friends stumbled back. What's happening? Lucy screamed. Now that we've uncovered its secret, Sam yelled. The school will never let us out. Antonio jumped back. My feet are getting wet. Water bubbled up through the crack in the floor. It was rising up fast. We don't have much time, Sam yelled. The water was over her sneakers. Lucy yanked on the door handle. It wouldn't unlock. We're stuck, Sam gulped. The water rushed up through the floor fast. It was already above their knees, and there was no way out. Chapter 11, Slippery Escape. The three friends kicked their feet to stay above the water. Soon, they touched the ceiling. The water would fill the entire room. Clank, bang, and clonk. The pipes were banging loudly. Sam could barely think. Wait, the pipes go all throughout the school, said Sam. He pointed at one big pipe. It was broken. Guys, climb inside that big pipe. I got an idea. Are you crazy? Lucy yelled. Antonio shook his head. No way. I'm not climbing that old pipe. We don't know where it will take us, and I don't want to get squeezed again. It's our only choice, Sam said. Antonio looked at Sam, then groaned. Fine, he slid over to the largest pipe. It was the size of a giant water slide. He climbed in. Sam helped Lucy up into the big pipe, too. The dark water was still rising. Sam needed to hurry. I'll be right back. Where are you going? Lucy shouted. Trust me, Sam said. Sam took one deep breath and dove down. For one, as he was actually thankful for all those swim classes his mom had made him take. Sam opened his eyes as he reached the water heater. Earlier, he had turned the wheel to the right to lessen the water strength and save Lucy. So if he turned it to the left, it would make the water move faster through the pipes. If the water is stronger, it can push us through the pipes. The water can carry us to the other end of the pipes, hopefully above ground, thought Sam. It was a crazy idea, but it was their only chance. Sam grabbed a hold of the wheel and began turning. Chapter 12, Dead End. Sam was having trouble turning the giant wheel underwater. He was running out of air. If this plan doesn't work, my friends and I are in serious trouble, he thought. Sam pictured Lucy and Antonio and Mr. Nakobe. He pictured Mrs. Gringer and all of his classmates. Eerie Elementary put them all in danger, and only he could save them. He was the hall monitor. He could feel the school. He sensed now that he could beat the school if only he could turn the wheel. He could not fail. He would not fail. Well, Sam used all his strength to give the wheel another tug. Screech! It worked. The wheel was turning. Then Sam saw a dial. Sam saw a dial atop the water heater, labeled water speed. How did I not see that thing before? Wondered Sam. As he turned the wheel, a small needle on the dial moved from green to red. The word danger was in the red section. Sam pressed his feet against the water heater and turned the wheel until the dial's needle was past the word danger. The water heater began shaking. It's going to blow, Sam thought. I've got to get out of here. Sam turned and kicked with all of his might. He burst through the surface and gasped for breath. Antonio and Lucy were inside the pipe, waiting for him. Water rushed faster and faster through the pipes, all around Sam. The water was bubbling and splashing. The water heater shook. Sam, what did you do? Antonio yelled. I'm getting out of here. We'll travel through the pipes, Sam said. I hope this works, Lucy said, sticking out a hand. Sam grabbed a hold, and Lucy pulled him up. He laid down behind Antonio and Lucy inside the big pipe. It was like the three that were laying at the top of a water slide. But if they weren't going on a fun zip down into a swimming pool, no. They were going to be rocketed up through Eerie Elementary. Where will this pipe spit us out? Lucy asked. Sam didn't answer. He had no idea where this pipe would take them. He just hoped it was somewhere above ground. The pipe started really shaking. The water heater would blow at any moment, and water would be blasted through the pipe. Hold your breath, Sam shouted. Here we go. Boom! The water heater blew. There was a giant blast of warm water. Sam, Antonio, and Lucy were launched through the pipe. Zoom! The three friends raced through the pipe at 100 miles per hour in a wave of water. Up ahead, the pipe split into two. Lucy shouted, Sam! As the pipe split, Lucy was carried off in one direction, and Sam and Antonio went in another. Sam held his breath as he zoomed through the pipe. Up ahead, the pipe split into two again. The water carried Antonio to the right. Sam tried to follow him, but it was too late. Sam was down a different pipe. Now Sam Graves was all alone, flying through Eerie Elementary. Sam saw darkness at the end of the pipe. Oh no, it's a dead end. He had to slow down or he would smash into the end of the pipe. He reached out and scraped his fingers against the pipe, but it was no use. He couldn't stop. He couldn't slow down. Chapter 13. And hanging by a thread. I need to do something, or I'll be smashed, he thought. He lay flat as a board. He pushed his feet toward the forward as the water rocketed him toward the end of the pipe. My sneakers and this fast speed have to help break through this old rusty pipe. Sam's feet slammed to the end of the pipe. Crash! It cracked open. Sam was shot out into the air. Oh no, he screamed. He was high above the lunchroom. He was mid-air, 30 feet up. And then falling. Sam reached out for anything to stop his fall. He grabbed onto one of the huge curtains that covered the room's floor-to-ceiling windows. Sam looked up at the pipe, and above him, gallons of water were pouring out of the pot and splashing onto the floor below. But then the flow of water began to slow. The water here must have run out of water. The danger was over. I did it, Sam thought, dangling from the curtain. He looked down. The lunchroom was empty. Phew, I'll just climb down this curtain, but then, and I'll find Antonio and Lucy. But no, Eerie Elementary was not done with Sam Graves. The water on the lunchroom began rising. It was taking shape. It was becoming something. Sam gasped. The water was taking the form of a giant hand. Help! Sam shouted. He tried to climb higher up the curtain, but the curtain began swaying. He was trying to shake Sam off. The curtain had come to life. Rip! The curtain started to tear. Sam looked down at the huge watery hand of Eerie Elementary. It opened wide. It was reaching for him. Chapter 14. Watery Hand. Sam hung by a thread from the monstrous curtain. He was about to be grabbed by the enormous hand. But wait, Sam remembered something. That morning, Mrs. Grinker had said, "Today's weather will be the hottest ever." Sam tightened his grip on the curtain. Then he tugged. The curtain tore. The entire curtain fell to the ground, along with Sam. Sunlight poured through the window. Hot rays of sunlight were shining directly on the watery hand. The hand pulled back as through it were in pain, and steam started rising off of it. The sun's heat were turning the water into steam. The school howled, but still the hand reached for Sam. It was hurt, weakened, but not beaten. If I could just break down the other curtains in here, the sunlight would destroy the hand, thought Sam, but I'm cornered. Watery fingers were about to grab Sam. Slam! Lucy and Antonio burst into the lunchroom. "We're coming, Sam," they yelled. "Pull down those curtains," Sam shouted. "Quick!" Antonio and Lucy didn't know about what Sam's plan was, but they trusted him. Antonio tugged on one more curtain, and Lucy grabbed another. Soon, even more sunlight flooded the room. The watery hand was almost beaten. Sam just needed to deliver the final blow. He spotted a metal cooking tray on the floor. The metal reflects light, thought Sam. Sam stepped on the edge of the tray, popping it up into the air like a skateboard. He snatched it and held it up to the sunlight. A white, hot beam of light bounced off the metal toward the hand. Hiss! The hand of Eerie Elementary screamed. It shook. Steam clouded the air. And then, boom, splash! The watery hand blew apart. Giant drops of water splashed across the room. The hand was gone. It was done. Sam got to his feet. And then he said, "You guys got here just in time. Where were you?" "The pipe spit me out over the gym," Lucy said. And I got spit into the 5th grade hallway," Antonio said. "Luckily, no one saw us." Sam was so tired that he could barely stand. "Man, I owe you guys one. It's big time," said Sam. "Are you kidding? You two saved me today," Lucy said. "It was all Sam," said Antonio. He began clapping. "Sam Graves, hall monitor hero! Give him a hand." Sam groaned. "I never want to hear the word hand again." The friends smiled. They were safe, but not for long. Chapter 15. All wet. Slam! The door flew open. Mrs. Grinker burst into the lunchroom. She looked around, eyes wide. Her frizzy hair was standing on end. "Sam! Antonio! Lucy! Where have you been?" she yelled. "What happened to the curtains? Why is everything wet?" Just then, Mr. Jacoby rushed in. He began calmly mopping up the water. Then he said, "Mrs. Grinker, Sam was helping me wash the windows. Didn't I tell you?" Mrs. Grinker was still upset. "No, you didn't tell me, and Sam should have asked me if he could leave class. He missed our entire weather lesson." I'm becoming forgetful in my old age," Mr. Jacoby said. Sam smiled and looked to the floor. Mr. Jacoby to the rescue. "What about Antonio and Lucy?" Mrs. Grinker said. "They're not hall monitors, so they should be helping you." "I'm making them assistant hall monitors. They've proved to be helpful to Sam." Antonio and Lucy looked at each other with big, excited smiles. Mrs. Grinker was mad. She turned on her heels and stomped out of the lunchroom. As soon as Mrs. Grinker and the other students left, Sam told Mr. Jacoby everything. You learned a lot about the school, Mr. Nakobe said. And you seriously hurt the school this time. Hopefully the evil will stay asleep for a while. And hopefully assistant hall monitors don't have to wear these ugly things, Lucy said. She tugged on Sam's bright orange sash. Hey, Sam said. Soon all four of them were laughing. After school that day, Sam, Lucy, and Antonio stood on the swings. We did well today, Sam said. But I don't think we'll ever be able to really defeat Eerie Elementary. Lucy hopped down off her swing. I don't think that's true, she said. Antonio nodded. We're a team, and now we know Orson Eerie is the school. There must be a way we can do whatever he did. Sam stared at the school building. Eerie Elementary, the strange creation that was mad scientist Orson Eerie. You guys are right, he said. There must be a way to beat Eerie Elementary, once and for all, and together we will find it. The end. I really hope you all have enjoyed the book. And I'll come back in around a month for book 3. You have a nice day. Hey.